Good evening, Council, Mayor. So I think that Councilmember King was kind of on the right track as far as getting a workshop going. I think that it's really important to get the community's input, but I also think that it's very important to stop conflating the issue of retail cannabis and veterans advocacy and rights. I know that cannabis has been a wonderful thing for veterans that suffer from PTSD and other issues, but by continuing to pose it as a veterans advocacy or rights issue, we're pitting two different groups of people against each other. People who support veterans and people who don't support cannabis are being painted as individuals who don't support veterans. So in the sake of moving forward with strictly retail cannabis, I would hope that the workshop council members, members of the community would hopefully try to separate the two issues. You can be opposed to cannabis and the retail sale of it and still support veterans. Those two aren't one and the same. And I think that it's a real disservice to the possibility of retail cannabis in this town when you are pitting these groups of people against each other. So I feel that a workshop would probably answer a lot of questions, especially if there is research done into, or the work done to get people, the public informed about the possibilities and positive benefits to bringing retail cannabis to Livingston. But I feel that it's really important, especially for our city leaders, to really stop pitting groups of people against each other around the cannabis topic. Thank you.
Open it up for any public comment. Anybody want to comment? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Monica, yeah. Yeah. Monica did tell me about the email. Monica, you want to read it?
Yeah. Okay. So the email states, evening council and members of the audience, unsure of what will be discussed at today's meetings regarding the revision on the ordinances on cannabis, I can only guess. Please protect the ordinance. They were put into place for a reason. Some of this current council did assign Zone M as a proper location for this type of business. I feel you will not get the pushback you have gotten at previous meetings regarding this issue. I am sure you have read on multi-platforms that majority of residents do not want this type of business downtown. It is a closed-door facility. The traffic that some assume will occur is non-existent. If the Main Street location is the reason for the revision, then people need to speculate of why the push for just this one location. I do have a couple hundred signatures from residents to protect the ordinances. If I need to, I will start to gather more. Please consider Zone M and protect the ordinances. Merla.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else want to comment on this issue? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Elisa Stewart, and I am an owner and a chief compliance officer with a vertically integrated cannabis company located in Lemoore, California. And what vertically integrated means is we do everything from seed to sale. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why our company was started, because I think it is helpful for communities to understand where our roots are. One of the managers of our LLC, and in an LLC, it's directed by managers. One of our managers is a combat veteran, and his name is Judas Resendez. And he couldn't be here tonight, but he drafted a statement that, if I can, I'd like to read to you all. So his statement is, my name is Judas Resendez, and I'm one of the managers of Basecamp Cannabis Company, a vertically integrated cannabis company in Lemoore, California. I am an OEF and OIF combat veteran. Many of you may already know that OIF refers to deployments that occurred in late 2002 to Iraq for what was called Operation Iraqi Freedom. OEF refers to deployments that occurred after 9/11 to Afghanistan. Due to a bilateral below-knee amputation of a roadside IED, I was honorably medically retired. During my rehabilitation, I had to relearn how to walk and function in prosthetics in the wheelchair. I wanted to remain active, which meant I needed to relearn how to do everything using prosthetics and a wheelchair. Engaging in demanding activities meant putting a tremendous strain on my residual limbs. I did not want to take narcotics to alleviate the pain I was experiencing at the time. Products containing CBD were simply unavailable to me. Because I did not have access to non-narcotic pain relief, I was required to spend more time in the wheelchair because of the pain experienced from prosthetic use. I kept moving forward. I completed my education in Washington, D.C., and earned a bachelor's degree and then a master's of fine art. I moved back to California, where I discovered California cannabis. I learned that cannabis was very effective for pain management. It also helped with anxiety from PTSD. It provided these benefits without the mind and body numbing experience from narcotics. It doesn't have the same addictive qualities as narcotics, and it allowed me to be present with the people in my life. I was able to be more active and spend less time in the wheelchair. I continue to use CBD and topicals for my strenuous activities, including downhill mountain biking to golfing. My brother-in-law started Basecamp Cannabis Company, and I have worked there as a delivery driver, providing cannabis products to many customers, including veterans like myself. For me, cannabis is not just another consumer product. It was transformative, providing increased opportunity for me to be active, mobile, and meet the demands of my lifestyle. I am now one of 3 managers at Basecamp Cannabis Company, directing the leadership and direction of the company. I am an example of what cannabis can do for veterans suffering from injuries endured in combat in service to our country. I learned that art could help me express my hopes and dreams, and I learned cannabis could help me realize my hopes and dreams. Today, I teach art to share with my students its tremendous power to transcend, and I am with Basecamp Cannabis Company to share the power of cannabis and how it helps someone like me recover and realize my goals. And I'm sorry that Jude couldn't be here tonight, but I do hope to have him participate in whatever process that you guys engage in, because I think his experience is not so unique, sadly, and it is relevant for a lot of people who are dealing with the issues that he was dealing with in his life. So many people think of cannabis as sort of a mind-altering, let's all get high, get baked kind of thing, but for a lot of people, it is far more than that. It has allowed him to be more active and out of a wheelchair than without it. And that's important for a community like this one, where there may be many veterans. So I welcome your discussion of this, and I hope to be able to participate and answer questions. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Any other comments?
Hello, Mayor. Hello, Council. My name is Adam Connor. I'm a local veteran advocate. I work heavily here with the Livingston VFW, and I'm the post commander of the Winton VFW. I support veterans throughout Merced County and Stanislaus County on a heavily regular basis. My goal for being here and my goal for discussing cannabis is I would like to have something like this that comes before the community be something that we can use to not only individually support specific veterans that need cannabis and can use cannabis to avoid, heavier addictive substances, but also specifically build in veteran advocacy. Right? I don't know how much everyone here knows about the Department of Veterans Affairs and what support systems are available for veterans, but unfortunately in our county, there's very little. Most of the support is in Fresno. Most of the emergency housing is in Fresno. Most of the emergency counseling and suicide prevention is in Fresno. For example, the suicide prevention team that works with veterans in Merced County is based in Fresno. We have no emergency veteran housing in Livingston. We have none in Winton, and I believe almost none in Merced. So for example, when a veteran is in a bad place and needs somewhere to go, we have to literally remove them from their community, their social structure, their support network to provide them housing. Well, that's not very helpful. So I think if the community and the council can come together and come at this correctly, we can build in specific covenants to provide for veteran housing. Diego's working on a veteran project in next to the VFW here in Livingston. We can build in specific amounts of funding to support that, right? To really help some of the men and women that need that direct help, right? I think there's an important component in this, in that the residents of the city of Livingston are already purchasing cannabis. Right? They're calling a delivery service. They're driving to Atwater. They're driving to Merced. We want to discuss this right on law enforcement, right? And that's important. These people are overworked already, and we don't want to exacerbate that. Frankly, 90%. I'm making that number up, right? A large proportion of residents here that would purchase retail cannabis are already purchasing retail cannabis. There's no additional strain on the community. They're just purchasing it from the community, and those tax revenues are going back to the community instead of going out of this community. Obviously, I want to support veterans. I want to do everything I can, and I would like to see some progressive, I guess, discussion on this matter.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your service. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Good evening. Barbara Ratzlaff, 1458 Main Street. And I'm sorry, my hearing isn't that well, but I know you're talking about cannabis. Is that correct? Well, my feeling, and I don't know how many other people do, but Livingston does not need that in the city of Livingston. My opinion, and I'm sure there's others. So I hope you think really well about anything coming like that. We need business, but not that kind.
Any other public comment?
Hello. I think we do need something like this in this town. For the sick and the elderly, it's hard to make it to Turlock and to Atwater to get it. Livingston is right in the middle. You can't even get to Delhi to get it. You'd have to go to Turlock or Atwater. A lot of people are in pain and can't make it that far. I've been in pain for over 10 years. I've been going in and out of the doctor, and they can't figure out what was wrong. It's like all the symptoms of Crohn's disease, if you're familiar with the Crohn's. Anyway, cannabis was the only way that I was able to cope with it without feeling sedated from the prescription pills. The prescription pills are way stronger and way harder than the cannabis. The cannabis was more light and gave me the appetite. Appetite was a hard thing. I think it'd be a good thing. And with the children and everything in the town, we got the security guards too. There's security guards out front making sure that the kids ain't going in. They have to get ID'd before they even go through the door. So it's not kids' choice to walk through the doors and get it. So I agree with it being in town. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment?
Good evening, Councilman and Mayor. My name is Travis Miller, partners in a retail cannabis delivery service and dispensary in Stanislaus County, as well as an affiliate with Basecamp Cannabis. I just want to, recommend that you guys actually check out some cannabis dispensaries in the surrounding municipalities, right? Merced's got them in, basically all zonings, and generally you'll see most cannabis dispensaries in general commercial, right? It's kind of important that these locations are strategic, especially in a smaller city like Livingston, right? Got a population of 15,000 here. Even for a commercial cannabis retail business to survive, it is really important for it to be, close to the freeway. And also, I encourage all the residents, right? You guys are more than welcome to come and check out our location, right? And kind of see how we operate. This isn't some drug den, and right, there's not criminal mischief happening, right? We're really secure, and I think that you'd kind of be blown away about how a legalized, licensed commercial cannabis business operates. So, again, my name's Travis. If you guys want to talk to me at the end, come check out, get a tour of our locations. You're more than welcome to. Anybody here? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anybody on the phone?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, go ahead. On the phone.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
Go ahead.
I wanted to say something about the cannabis.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a resident, aging carpenter. And it's, first of all, this is legal, and it's going to bring tax revenue. It's normal products that are safe. Anybody can grow it now these days. It's the safest painkiller, and it works immediately. And we need the stores where we can have them accessible. We don't want them. We can watch it, man. This is ridiculous trying to put them out by the warehouse. And this is good for our veterans and everybody too. So that's all I had to say about cannabis. Need this.
Thank you. Any other comment on the phone? Yes, go ahead.
Happy Baines speaking from the Planning Commission. So is this item still going to go to the Planning Commission, or is this, item going to bypass this and come straight to you guys?
No, I think this is just to see where we go in general. It's not like specific to ordinance or policy. I think it's more, we want to have a workshop and get more information about it and invite the public. I think we're way before Planning Commission or Council at this time.
Thank you.
No, I encourage the Planning Commission to be at the public, at the workshop, so that way we could get you guys' input.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea.
It's been a 5-year, 6-year process. If we could all work together, instead of having separate meetings, going through different departments, all get together at once and figure it out.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. So I think that Councilmember King was kind of on the right track as far as getting a workshop going. I think that it's really important to get the community's input, but I also think that it's very important to stop conflating the issue of retail cannabis and veterans' advocacy and rights. I know that cannabis has been a wonderful thing for veterans that suffer from PTSD and other issues, but by continuing to pose it as a veterans advocacy or rights issue, we're pitting two different groups of people against each other. People who support veterans and people who don't support cannabis are being painted as individuals who don't support veterans. So in the sake of moving forward with strictly retail cannabis, I would hope that the workshop council members, members of the community would hopefully try to separate the two issues. You can be opposed to cannabis and the retail sale of it and still support veterans. Those two aren't one and the same. And I think that it's a real disservice to the possibility of retail cannabis in this town when you are pitting these groups of people against each other. So I feel that a workshop would probably answer a lot of questions, especially if there is research done into or the work done to get people, the public informed about the possibilities and positive benefits to bringing retail cannabis to Livingston. But I feel that it's really important, especially for our city leaders, to really stop pitting groups of people against each other around the cannabis topic. Thank you.
Any other comment by the public? Anybody on the phone?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Ruben Pruso. I'm a combat veteran. I served from 02 to 06. I am currently disabled, and I do rely heavily on this cannabis project. You know, every time I require any of it, I do have to drive either to Merced or all the way to Bethesda, which is, you know, it doesn't really benefit me too much. You know, I've been prescribed all kinds of medications. The only thing that ever really did help was this. I have a lot of veteran friends as well that agree with me, and that they also rely on this. I would love for the city to look into it, or at least help us with something to look into this and move forward. That is all.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Go ahead on the phone.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes, my name is Ray Lopez. I'm calling in regards to the cannabis issue, and I just want to make a comment saying that I think we should have the availability to have it downtown anywhere so people can easily walk to the place that they need their medicine, be available readily for people not have to travel to other areas of town. And if you look at Atwater, look at what they did. They restricted their cannabis zoning to the far out warehouse district area, and their cannabis, their policy has been failing because of that. So let's not be Atwater. Let's make it available anywhere we need it possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I don't want to take too much of your time. I, too, am a combat veteran. I wear my combat boots today. I understand there's an idea of contention between people who want to advocate for marijuana use, and there's connecting parts on why people want to have legal marijuana distribution, and it goes beyond military veterans. It goes to anyone suffering mental issues, physical issues, just relieving their personal stress. I believe in advocating for each and every one of those people as I am going through nursing school myself. I'm a proponent for holistic care. If anyone does not know what holistic care is, that is caring for the mind, body, and soul in ways that we are not harming it, which we have seen through studies that opioids have significantly harmed people. We are now finding that there are instances with marijuana that have been negative. However, there's an abundance of research that shows different avenues of ingesting or topical applications of marijuana that have shown positive effects. And I greatly would advocate for the council and for you, Mayor, to please put this workshop together. I think your town will see a significant decrease, possibly, in issues that the police have to deal with. I believe you are going to be advocating for more jobs in your community, which people would be more than happy to fill, I'm sure. And I believe that we need to address the fact that our state sees it as a good thing. And if we hold back on our own beliefs, on what we believe is right or wrong, we are then discouraging other people from being able to relieve themselves of their pain, of their mental suffering, of whatever it may be. We are inhibiting them. And I don't believe we should do that. I believe it may not be something that you personally agree with, but this is one of a safer method of relieving stress, relieving these pains that people have. And I would just appreciate it if the council and the mayor would consider this when deciding your ruling. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your service.
When you guys get this workshop put together, one of the most important things is location, location, location for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, then I'll bring it back to council.